And another frosty morning out here. Wasn't too cold once I was bundled up, but outside the tent is completely covered in frost dew. Almost needed a traction device to go to get all this morning with all the frost covering everything. But pretty good night. I'm right under 12K, but seem to be acclimated at long last. And how's that for coffee and a view? There's also moose poop all over the place up here, but haven't seen any of them. Oh well, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. Seemed to have had a good amount of traffic coming by this morning. Some of them were bound for the pass. Not sure if they're day hikers or Colorado Trail, since pretty much all the Colorado Trail people I've talked to have been headed out towards Salida and Denver. I also just had two pass me that look like CDT. Can't tell for sure unless you talk, but some people have their gear refined down a bit much or more. So if somebody's coming by in a giant 4.5 pound Osprey, right or wrong, I kind of assume probably Colorado Trail or weekender. So today I have about 16 miles to the Lake City access. I'm not even going to try and get a hotel room in there. Rumor has it it's hard at the best of times, and I was just in a hotel in Salida, so I figure instead do the 16 miles, camp at the trailhead, early tomorrow morning, hitch in, do my resupply, recharge my battery, get back out, get a couple of miles on from there, assuming the weather doesn't come back and screw me here. Part of why I stopped where I did is there's a note about campsites up ahead. Being in the middle of a lot of beetle kill, you never know when these dead trees are going to come down on you. So better to be amongst the bushes back there, which at least gave me a little bit of cover. There was a note about some campsites at the saddle where Creede shortcut leaves, but there was something about we were probably lucky it was a calm night. And with the way the weather's been lately, I don't have much confidence in calm weather. Feels like I was stressing about weather going through here before I jumped down to this section, and now I still am. The day before yesterday was a rough time. Rain is one thing. Rain when it's right around freezing is a whole different deal. But hey, one day at a time. I was looking ahead, and if I get hit hard again by thunder, lightning, etc., there are lower altitude bailouts I can take on the whole San Juans section, basically. And I saw notes from people last year having to do that. I both hate having to do that, since I've really wanted to see the entire red line, and there's only so much you can do unless you're willing to just sit there every time the weather makes you do a hard stop. Honestly, I got really lucky last year. The storms that I had were not ones that ever made me jump off the ridge. This year, obviously, that has not been the case. I just keep telling myself Colorado doesn't go on forever. I think it's under 200 miles till the New Mexico border now. And then things should get a little bit more straightforward. Except maybe water sources. I think that's probably the one thing that's going to hit me there. No, that doesn't suck too much. The Creede Junction is the one that I've just been obsessing over, I guess you could say, all last year, and this year to a lesser extent. It seemed to me that this was kind of the gatekeeper. You either you make it through the San Juans, or Creede cuts off an awful lot, so you can still do Creede when the season is much later. And if it's too late to do Creede, then you can do that Green Line Great Divide alternate. I know people who says San Juans is the prettiest part of the CDT, and yet you look at posts online, far out, etc. It seems like one of those sections that very few people have actually seen. I did see a handful of comments from northbounders making it through in early June, you know, with just micro spikes and a lot of will, but a lot of people take the others. I really didn't want to divide this hike into 2 years, but didn't have much choice. And if I was going to have to divide it, I figured the higher priority was feeling like I had actually done all of the CDT. But that's just my own neuroses. Plus side, my total mileage out here on the CDT is now around total mileage if you take a good number of the shortcuts. So I guess I should feel some sort of accomplishment. Mostly I just feel like I really miss having my trail legs from last year. So yeah, left cuts down to the city of Creede, cuts across the mountains, lower skips a bunch of high route. There is a part of me that wants to do the Creede cutoff. Just get done with this damn state before it finally finishes me off. What I wouldn't give for 2 weeks of weather, just like this morning. It's a ways off, but that might be a moose. Nah, never mind. Looks like it's just that pack train I've been following. Well, that is a first. Those guys were long-distance horse packers. Actually started in Utah. They've done about 1,400 miles. They came up, I assume they were just local pack train. Started talking, saying hi. Turns out they used my videos as a source for their trips. They've watched a bunch of my middle CDT videos. I swear those things got way more play than I realized. I just burned like half an hour chatting with those folks. What they're doing is something that you really don't see done very often. Also, per the guy, tomorrow's 100% storm, but it's going to be fast. And then clearish till Friday. One of the greatest things about making these videos has just been people I met, interactions I've had online, and stuff like that. People I never would have crossed paths with. Oh, nice folks. Oh, okay. One more big up, but it's a bigger, more gradual one. Almost hit 13 this time, I think. And then it's a descent down to the road access. That's going to take me another 10 miles. There's a moose down there, but he's wandering off. Oh, that's a pretty sight. Okay, this is more my style climbing. It's been straight up and down. That's different. Looks almost like sand. Everything was wet and iced and whatnot.
Yeah, I stopped. There's nobody nothing dried it out today.
So there's basically a big long thing called Snow Mesa. I'm just trying not to fall behind the pack train again. This is certainly different. Does kind of remind me about one section of the winds where it drops you off the high ridges. Well, unfortunately, I'm kind of out of trail. It's a little before 5. I don't have enough time to get in and out of town. I'm worried about getting a ride on a difficult hitch in the dark. So I got to stop around here. If I can find water, I'll stop before the pass. Pass has a road going through it. So all those folks were Colorado Trail. They're headed into town, but I need to save money, so I'm gonna camp out here. Got roadside water, it's all good. So camping is discouraged in these spots. There are actually signs that say no camping. Is it enforced? Usually not, but not my thing. So I'm probably going up the hill a short ways because there wasn't much up there that would have worked for me. There's something decidedly lonely about staying at trailheads for me. Big part of me would like to go into Lake City, get cleaned up and have a slightly warmer night, but gotta save those hotel nights. I can find plenty of camping spots up here. Bigger crapshoot is a freaking tree gonna fall on you. So many of these dead ones, I'm assuming it's beetle kill. But it's like there's none alive in some areas. Okay, found a spot, kicked as many trees as I can in the immediate area. Not overly thrilled with all the dead stuff around here, but seems like the best of the options that I can find. It was actually a relief talking to Early Riser, the guy I was chatting with on the way in. Just the fact that other people had struggles with the ice and the rain. Sometimes when you're out here alone, it's like, why the heck is this throwing me for this much of a loop? I did 16 miles, would have liked to do a couple of more, probably had a couple of more in me, but can't really bypass this town stop. I have a couple hours here so I can organize my food, figure out what the heck I need to buy. And then the plan will be to, as quick as possible in the morning, hitch in, buy food, find a place where I can plug in for about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get my 20K and my phone topped up, and then get back out here and continue on. This next section is going to be a much longer haul, basically to get from here to Pagosa Springs is a little over 100 miles. So it should be fine. I'll bring 6 days of food as long as the weather doesn't, screw me over too hard where I'm not making any progress. There is a city partway, Silverton, I think it is, which is hit by the Colorado Trail people. It wouldn't be easy to get to, but worst case, there is that. There are also low country alternates that I've been checking out. So I've got options. So as usual, really hoping I can do the red line, just making good choices day by day, depending on what happens. I've been getting different answers as far as the weather forecast, so guess we'll see. Rain by itself isn't that big of a deal. It was just rough that one day because of how hard and how sustained it came down. If it's just kind of the periodic off and on like the day before, that's manageable. So home sweet home, and here's hoping I don't get crushed by a tree, huh?